30 seconds to showtime. All right, we are backstage. We've got about 10 seconds to go, and it's time for Ability MKE Now. Welcome to Ability MKE Now. My name is Sue Roskoff. Ability MKE Now is where we are dedicated to inclusion, connection, community, bringing people together and being relevant to everybody. That is exactly what we do here, bringing people with disabilities and people that don't have a disability together, enjoying life here in the Milwaukee area. We all have our own experience with disability, whether it's our own, with people we know, or with people we encounter in our everyday lives. We all have different and unique abilities, and that is what we celebrate. Here at Ability MKE Now, we celebrate the ability in all of us. And joining us, as always, is my wonderful co-host, Michael Martin Hummel. Michael is a writer, speaker, and podcaster who works to bridge the gap between disabled and able-bodied people. And as always, I am so happy to see you, Michael. How you doing?
I'm good. Thank you for having me. Good to see you.
Always
Um,
good to see you.
I'm sorry because I do have the hiccup, so I'm gonna be a little quiet tonight.
All good. I'm so glad to have you here. So we are going to go ahead and bring in our one and only wonderful edition tonight. We've got actually someone who's become a good friend, a longtime actually networker. We've crossed paths for I'm not even sure how long now, but I'm going to put years on the label here. Daniel Benjamin is joining us, and I am so happy to have you here. Daniel, come on in, and if you want to go ahead and give us a quick introduction, I'm so happy to see you.
Ah, stop it. I appreciate the praises. You're the best, Sue. Yeah, Daniel Benjamin from Queens, New York, born and raised, and happy to be here.
Excellent. And we've known each other from Happy Neighborhood Project. And I actually don't even know how far back it goes at this point. It's been a long time.
Yeah, it's been quite some time. It's one of those things where you do in business where you're networking, you're growing, you're building, and you think about it in hindsight. You should have captured those moments, kind of like a timeline. Oh, this is where I met Sue. This is where I met Kurt. This is where I progressed here. This is where I got a referral. This is where I helped a person, and so forth. So yeah, but we seldom people do that, and that's something that I get to work on.
Well, and it's been a lot of fun because I know we see each other, I would say on average, I would say once a week. So we always get to have that moment to catch up and find out all the great things that are going on. And I know in the business world, you're very much into education and helping people. Do you want to just touch briefly on what that all is about?
Yeah, I won't go into super great details. That's not what we're here to talk about today. And also, it's I guess I get to do it with like corporate acceptance on that. But I'm in the arena of finance and financial education, so I help people, understand how money works and go through game planning and so forth, which is pretty fun. It's exciting, and it requires a lot of work, but being able to help people along the way and make an impact is what it's all about.
Yeah, and you are the perfect person to be in that position. I appreciate what you all do and how you approach things on that educational standpoint and how much you help people. You've got a heart for that, and I know whenever I'm around you, you always put a smile on my face. So it's a lot of fun. And I want to go ahead and pass the mic to you as far as a topic to hit tonight. So I love that you've got. I can see it. I know the radio audience can't. Can you
It
introduce
will
us to
definitely describe
this?
it. Yeah,
Yes.
yes, it will definitely describe it. So, first, for starters, I am a pageant winner. So, I won what's called Mr. Fire Island Bear, and most pageant winners win a sash. So, I'm wearing my sash right now. It is a black leather sash with writings from the winner of 2023, and it says Fire Island Bear. So for anybody who knows the geography of New York, the barrier island of Long Island has a couple of towns in it, which is called Fire Island Pines and Cherry Grove, and they're right next door to each other. And these two towns are very, very they're a space, a haven for the LGBTQ community, and gay men have been going there for ages, since like way before even Rock Hudson used to go there. So it's a great place. I met quite a few celebrities over there, and into my exploration of it, because it's very easy to get to for me. It's about an hour drive plus a 15-minute ferry ride, and then you're on the island. So getting there, I kind of like got a lay of the land, and then eventually I found my way to competitions and bars and areas in that location. And one of the things that one of the events that I went to was Bear Weekend. Just to dial back on this a little bit, a bear in the bear community, for those who don't know, is usually people of a different body type. It's not usually the prim, proper abs, built body type of a physique. It's usually people who are a little bit more overweight, or a little bit scruffier, hairier, whatever build you can think of that's out of the box. There's definitely an acceptance in the bear community. So I was definitely a part of that. And I went to watch the 2022 competition as it unfolded, and I saw Tony Randall win, and I was blown away by just how awesome it was. And I told my friend right next to me, who ended up competing with me, I told him, I got to do this next year. Next year, I'm doing this. And so I went from being a spectator to, doing the sport. So I'll go into more details, obviously, about like, what it took to win. But that was my introduction, and I guess you know how it went out, how I won, right?
I
Um,
love it. So, yeah, I would love to know more about it because this is one that is new for me. I'm not familiar with this particular competition. So, do you want to describe a bit more about what's all involved? How does it work?
yeah, yeah, so definitely. As far as the pageant vibe, the pageant energy, there's always like, what are you going to do for the community to help the community, right? What is there going to be? There will be an impact and will make good. So I know that they gave me a platform of where I can also go and raise money for a charity, which I did. I raised money for two charities. One was All True Community for Altruistic Living, and another one was for a transgender organization out in New York City for advocacy for transgender folk. That was great. I had the ability to do that. But as far as the competition itself, what's required? So any number of people can actually join into the competition, but there's stuff that you got to prepare for. So in my particular season, I had to learn 7 songs that I would most likely lip sync, and ended up lip syncing 2 of those songs, which was "Let's Get Loud" by Jennifer Lopez and "How Many Licks" by Lil Kim. Uh, so those are very, very high energy songs. Um, and also there was an interview the day before. It spread on 3 days. The Bear Weekend is spread on 3 days. So we had like an introductory day, then we had a day where we had like all these different kind of events, and I get to schmooze, connect with people, and also do an interview. So I had an interview that was required of me, and they set aside each contestant to do the interview. And basically the last year's winner, so I was grilled by Tony Randall and a bunch of other people as well. And I hope I answered satisfactory. Till now, I don't know how the interview went specifically in regards to the points, but I felt like I was charismatic enough, and I felt like I answered authentically enough. Which I noticed afterwards, the year following, because that was 2023, so 2024, I get to judge. And as a judge, you know, you can kind of guess like who has, who's just kind of like speaking out of somewhere else, or who's kind of like, you know, speaking out of their truth and their experience or their lived experience. So I hope I was on that level. But then, in addition to all of that, there's wardrobe change on the day of the contest. There are pop-up questions on the day of the contest. We had the MC of the event was there emceeing, and we also had a drag queen, which was doing skits in between and also kind of emceeing, like co-emceeing, which was amazing. And so I had one other thing that come up for me that was completely out of the ballpark, which was an all or nothing, like, or double or nothing kind of surprise here, where they said, hey, you have the opportunity to double your points if you do if you entertain one of these three options. A, you get to do a lip sync dance off with a random song against the MC, against the drag queen MC, or against a surprise person. So what I did very smartly is I told the audience, what do you want? I turned it on the audience because if we all know, anybody who knows when it's networking, when you're connecting, is the spotlight shouldn't be on you, even though the spotlight was literally on me. The spotlight should not be on you. So I gave it to them, and they were all saying mystery person, mystery person. It turned out to be the MC guy. But what he did, what Danny J did was rip himself out of his clothing to, like, you know, it's like this clothing was rippable, and then he was in this unitard with fringes. And then I had to lip sync to I'm a Barbie Girl. So,
Nice.
yeah, that was, and thank the heavens that I knew the words, because who knows? Like, you know, I'm 43 years old. I grew up through I'm a Barbie girl. So yeah, I know the words, and I just turned it up, and I can't believe I beat the MC, who, by the way, is a professional dancer. He's Puerto Rican. I myself am Middle Eastern. Iraqi, Iranian mix. And so, like, we have rhythm in us and all that, but when you think Puerto Rican, you know, like the dance gods, they know how to do everything, right? And yet I still pulled through, which I can't believe. And we still talk about it and laugh all the time. Um, but yeah, that's a big part of it. I would say another thing that helped me that I really get to add, in great appreciation to my friend Eric, who was my right man person for all of this, throughout all of this. He was staying with me at the house that we were renting for that weekend, and I asked him for a lot of help and support. So on the first night when we were kind of like schmoozing and connecting with people, what I did is I gave him lollipops to just go around and start handing out lollipops and say, "Hey, this is my friend. He's a contestant, and he's making a huge ask throughout this entire event. Do me a favor, raise up the energy, raise up the volume. You can root for Daniel, that's fine. You can do that, or you can root for anybody else, but just please raise up the volume. We want this to be an amazing event." And that's basically what I wanted to do. I know my mentor taught me the saying, competition breeds excellence. So if everybody's feeling their best and they really want to compete, they're going to force me to compete. Danny J did that for me with I'm a Barbie Girl. So that's what I was looking for. He also, on the day of the competition itself, he also handed out bear paw stickers and kind of like hype people up some more. He was my like intern choreographer, helped me out with some stuff that I would need to know for like dance moves. And really, if it wasn't for Eric, I don't think I would have won. So I'm very, very, very appreciative of him. And hopefully he's listening. I don't know if I sent him the link. But yeah.
Getting that shout out there, that I love it, because it's those that surround us and help lift us up that really, unsung heroes along the way, right? So
Sometimes
that
it takes a village, you know?
oh
Sometimes it just takes a village.
yeah, Oh my gosh. So, had you ever done anything like this before? Being on stage, doing that to that level?
No, I would say that one of the things that gave me a little bit of uh, there's a couple of elements that gave me a little bit of comfort in going and doing that is A, I've seen it before, right? Like, so I'm like,
That
okay,
helps.
you've seen it, so it's not abstract for you. Tony did an amazing job the year prior, and the other contestants did as well. Also, I work in finance and financial education, and so I talk to a lot of people. In my office, we do like office meetings, and sometimes I'm literally up on stage and talking to people. So I've learned to kind of like step into a normalization of public speaking and the wittiness that I get from my friendships with I'm as you are well aware of, Sue, I have all of these puns. I'm like the pun master.
I love it.
I bring on the punishment, right? And
Yeah.
so I bring that wittiness and with a really deep gay spice to it. I bring up the wittiness, and so all of these things they serve you well when you're on the stage. It's kind of like maybe I should have been a drag queen in another life, if I didn't know that finance is where the money is. And
Yeah.
please do me a favor. Let this be a PSA to everyone over here. If you find yourself in a gay bar and there's a drag queen, please tip the drag queens. They work hard for the money, literally. They work hard for the money and they work hard. They make a living doing what they're passionate about. So take the time and tip them. They're absolutely amazing and they're there to create an environment.
Very fun. And that's part of what I love about what we do here, sharing information that, you know what, where else am I going to know that? How would I know that? Until you know, now that you know, though, you can't unknow. So that's the kind of thing that I love about this, having a chance to share all that, all the tips and tricks along the way of what makes life better. So I
Yeah.
love that. So with being, I actually I want to back up because I had one more question that occurred to me is how big is that? Like how many people were you competing against?
Yeah, so we were five this time, and originally started with seven, and then two kind of like fell off. I don't know, maybe it was stage fright, or I think I remember one of them and was sick and unable to attend. So it was just luck of that situation. But the people that I was competing with, the other four, they were really, really good. Really good. I'm talking about another one's another dancer, Latino, and the other ones were just like they had like these really great props for the wardrobe changes and some really witty responses to pop-up questions. I didn't get to see their personal interviews, so I don't know how that went. But I knew that I had to step it up. Otherwise, I would not I wouldn't even end up as Miss Congeniality or something, right?
Amazing. How long has this competition been going on?
That's a very good question. So my mentor, Danny J, is the winner of 2017, and I think it's been for a couple of years prior to that.
Okay.
And the year that I won was the year that one of the contestants, one of the winners, had actually passed away. And
Oh,
I don't remember the circumstances of what his illness was, but one of the things that humbled me the most is that from year to year, we add on another person into this family.
mm-hmm.
Every winner becomes inducted into this family, and even the non-winners, even the runner-ups and all that, they become a part of the family. And when you lose somebody, to see the respect that they gave, the moment of silence that they gave was absolutely humbling because I know, like, God forbid, if this ever happens to me, like, who's there for me? Who's gonna like,
Mm-hmm.
recognize me for what I did, or what I've done, and where I've been, and the impact that I made on the community, and to know that the community cares so much for the people, for the legacy that we leave behind from generation to generation, from year to year.
Mm-hmm.
It's very humbling, and I know I'm in the right place.
what a feeling, right? When you know you found your people, right? You found those that you're clicking with and that you're connecting with like that, and that it turns. I mean, with what we do with our water ski club, and that's our ski family, and to have that connection and that bond is magical. Yeah, Michael, I'm
Yeah.
gonna pass it over to you.
Yeah, I'm just curious. What does being seen and heard and felt and having that community mean to you?
I love that question. What it does for me, it reinforces, I mean, especially when I look at my sash, I have this rule of thumb is that every time I go to like a gay party, a gay event, I take my sash with me. And even though it's like, 2023, sometimes people put it away. But for me, whenever I see this, I think back to what I did with people with the help of the community. And I think back to winning this, and I say to myself that this is an attestation more so than an affirmation. I am all for people who have affirmations of I got this, I can do this, I'm good, I'm amazing, I'm strong. You look in the mirror and all that, that's great. It's a great habit to develop. But one thing that carries a lot of gravitas, that you're doing right by yourself and you're also doing right by the community is having a token, having something to attest to, as I'm showing you my sash. So the attestation is there that I'm at any moment I can add value. At any moment I can be called to a fundraiser event and help promote it, or do something that my platform can allow me to speak louder into that subject. Without going into politics, everything changed in 2023 for me as somebody from the Middle East and all the stuff that's going on there in the Middle East. So I use my platform to let people know who I am and to demystify the story of who are the people from the Middle East as somebody who's from the Levant and from the Mesopotamia area. Who's literally DNA tested from that area? My visibility as somebody who's a brown man from that space, and having that platform, having that community makes it a little bit louder.
Love that. Yeah, Michael is very good at that the whole idea of being seen and heard. And actually, Michael, you want to mention a little bit about the weekend event that you have coming up? I know it's I think 2 Saturdays from now yet, but you want to just share a little bit about what you all do and what that platform is?
Yeah. I once a month I do something called Stories of Diversity. I have anywhere from 5 to 20 speakers speak on a different theme, and it's specific to disability. And this month is going to be autism. So on the 25th of this month.
So 25th of April, yeah, coming up quick now. What is it, 10 days from now? So you'll have stories of diversity with the topic of autism. That hits home with a lot of people these days. I mean, when I was a kid, I didn't know what that was, and now I know so many people who identify with autism as part of who they are. And the more we know, the more with any topic, the more we know, the more we can relate, the more we can understand, and just to be a good human with each other. Because the more we understand, the more we can do good we can do together. So that's my standpoint for all the things that we do. That's part of why we're here. So Ability MKE Now is, if it wasn't for that whole idea of sharing information and trying to make the world a better place, which sounds very altruistic, but really to try to make things better for everyone. That's why we're here, sharing out the good. And that's where, yeah, Daniel, with all I know about you, you're always making the world a better place everywhere you go. I know I'm always laughing every time you're around. I get to have a giggle, and because the puns, the dad jokes, all that. Anyone who knows Kurt knows that that's part of his repertoire, and so that always hits me. I love it. he promised new material every day, and he does not let me down ever. So it makes it fun. But
Awesome.
so I'm gonna ask if you could could share anything that was the really what was the most meaningful piece. I know you said with having those connections that you made with folks and to have that family, is that was that the most meaningful part of this experience for you, or is there any other pieces that fall right into that category as well?
Yeah, well, it was definitely a very, very bold and out there experience for me. I don't know if it's like the most meaningful, but it actually does. It carries a lot of weight because I recently I went to a I'm not going to list the organization, but it's an organization that brings people together within the LGBTQ community who are Orthodox Jewish. And I'm not Orthodox, but I am definitely I definitely keep a lot within. And one of the topics that I was featured in a panel. One of the topics that I went over was creating family or building family. And this is one of the cool things about the LGBTQ community is that we have our actual family, like our next of kin, blood relatives, and we also have our chosen family that we highlight as to be something very special and dear to us because sometimes and unfortunately, sometimes our next of kin aren't always that close to us or can understand us the way we can. Like, to me, coming out of the closet is a daily thing. If I'm speaking to somebody new who just now learned that I'm gay, you know, and or that what's a bear and all that. But I can kind of let all of that go aside when you're with people that you're friends with and you can connect with. So at the panel, I was talking about that, and I was sitting right next to another panelist who was kind of like the beginning of that story, the inception of when I went from traveling in large groups of one, when I was just like, just by myself figuring things out, until I realized, oh, I can do this with friends, and these friends can be family and they can connect with me. And then I realized that, especially with me, I have a big challenge. I come from all these different crossroads. Iranian, Iraqi, Polish mix, Jewish, gay, New Yorker, Israeli, American. I have all of these things that pull me in different directions, and so you look for who has the most of that to offer me that I can like speak their same language, quote unquote, if that makes sense, right? And so
Yes.
it always has been an important thing for me. And not necessarily all of my friends are bears, right? Many of them are Jewish, many of them are Ashkenazi, Sephardi Jews, Mizrahi Jews, and all that. And there's differences between those things. But me having friends that are bears, and then recently I got connected with a gaming uh, uh, I would say like a gaming community that was really super fun that I got to, drive into New Jersey for, but I don't mind doing it. All the way from Queens to New Jersey. It's not that big of a schlep, but I did it. And I go over there and I see people who are bear and Jewish and all that. And I feel so good at home. I feel so like in my own skin. And it's choosing family is really, really cool. It can take some work, but it's worth it. It is so worth it. And I encourage everyone out there, whether you're gay or straight or fall under any crossroads and all that, make the effort. Make the effort to make friends. Obviously, you know, stay true to yourself and understand when in life, sometimes you get to prune people if it's not really working the best for you. But the
I
ability
can't thank
to
you
have
enough
somebody
for
as a friend is amazing.
that is perfect for all of us here with Ability MKE now.